This data engineer created a data pipeline using Python and they want to deploy it to production. But before deploying to production, they have to access the console of the cloud they are using and then find the folder where they should put the deploy the Python script to the correct service, and then they have to verify if the integration was done correctly, do some configurations around that, and then actually have their code in production. But what if they want to get the previous version after they deployed this version of the pipeline? Or what if there is some integration issue, they forgot to do some configuration, some specific configuration? Or even if they deployed the code, but it didn't work in production? And what if they have other colleagues that are also changing the code and nobody knows really who does what? And maybe they even changed the same script and they don't have the previous version anymore. So what should this developer do, this data engineer? What if they had a process where they uploaded the code to a GitHub repository or any code version repository, and after that they didn't have to do anything, just wait, and if the code was approved, the code would go to production, and that code would pass through testing, and the integration would be done automatically. That data engineer would for sure be happy, right? So this video is about how to stop manual integrations by simplifying code integration with CI/CD. First of all, we're going to talk about what is CI/CD, then what is versioning, code versioning, repository, whatever, um, and how to apply CI/CD to data engineering. So first of all, what is CI/CD? CI/CD is developing and delivering software in short, frequent cycles, and it's being increasingly necessary to data engineering and data science, according to Databricks. And the concept itself for continuous integration is integrating code changes into a shared source code repository, so many people can integrate their code they can change code into this code repository, and continuous deliver or deployment or deployment refers to the integration, testing the code, and then delivering these code changes. And the deployment is actually going a little in front of that and automatically releasing these updates into a production environment. So that's basically what is CI/CD. In my view, it's understand so in like a day-to-day perspective, is understanding the work cycle, like what does a data engineer do? They code their code and then they open the console and then they do X, Y, and Z, these configurations specifically. So how the human interacts with the machine in a daily basis, and then identifying areas for automation. So basically, as I said, having the data engineers do their work with their data platforms in a daily basis, and then identifying how they can test automatically, deploy automatically, integrate automatically. So they need to spend less time doing that, so less human time, and also less human errors, because a team can be constituted of many data engineers with different skills, different experience levels, and then you will need to have everyone trained on how to do X, Y, and Z, which is very like repetitive and not interesting. So human errors can occur because of many reasons that I mentioned. So what is versioning? So the purpose of talking about versioning here is without having a code repository or even versioning your data, you cannot really apply CI/CD You cannot automate your workflow because you won't be enabled to do so. So what is versioning? Having a repository with branches. So for example, GitHub or I don't know, there are many others, but the goal here is to have your source of truth code, and then you will keep updating it with your branches, your feature branches. Having versions of important data, for example, training data sets for your models, you will have versions for that. Slowly changing dimensions, you can have the versions for that data, or even having Lake FS, which is basically the same concept of GitHub applied to data. So you have different you have your different versions along with time, and you can have different branches as well. So the advantages of doing this is ensures reproducibility and consistency of code and data. So if you want to, for example, if you had a model that trained with X data and then you changed a little bit and the model was not as good, you can go back to X data and you will have the same model as before. You can facilitate collaboration, supporting team scalability. If you don't have a code repository, hardly you will be able to have multiple people changing data pipelines. So it's important to have this, especially if you have a team. But it's a good practice anyway. It enables rollbacks, as I said. If you want to go back to a version, um, you'll be able to do that if you have the versions of it, like stored somewhere. Improves traceability, allowing audits. So, for example, if you want to audit your data, you'll be able to do that if you have versions of it, historical data. If you have multiple team members, you can trace who did what change and understand it better. And also, it allows automation and CI/CD because of all things that I said. You need a repository, you need versioning to be able to actually deploy something based on a code repository, right? So how to apply CI/CD to data engineering? All of that seemed very interesting, having part of your work automated, have automated integrations, and having your production environment up to date. But how to actually do it? So we have two concepts, right? Continuous integration and continuous deployment. I'm going to break down, first of all, we're going to talk about integration and then deployment. So what is the advantage again about having continuous integration is automated integration, testing, and deployment. So you will have, for example, how to do it. How to do it in data engineering. Automatically run unit and integration tests for code changes before merging. For example, if you have functions for transformation, you will have unit tests for each function, and before you merge to your main branch of code, you will perform tests using PyTest or Airflow specific tests, and you can also test your data results, because when you do the transformation, you want to see also the quality of your data after that transformation. You can implement tests to verify that data transformations and pipelines output meet quality standards, like for example, checking schemas, integrity, and consistency. As I said, after transforming your data, using a function to transform it, you want to assure that your data has a specific quality, the standards that you work with, and you need also to check, for example, if created at field is with has it the type that you expect, such as datetime, timestamp. So it's important to do these tests, these data-specific tests, and use linters for code quality and automated tests for data quality. So, for example, you may use Flake8 and SQL Fluff to verify the code quality. They have certain standards applied to them, and many CI/CD tools already have these packages ready to use. It's just applying to specific use cases in your repository. Also, it's important to check your data quality for missing values and types mismatched. So second part, after integrating, after you open your pull requests and these tests run to verify if there is integration and testing and test your code, you actually deploy. So the main advantage is faster deliveries with reduced manual effort and human error. When a person tries to deploy something, they may take a while, and while the automation may be seconds or minutes, and humans are prone to error if they forget any configurations, if they are having a bad day, or even if they are not trained properly, they may make these errors. So how to actually deploy? You automate the processes of deploying code changes to different environments. You understand your day-to-day how to really do these code changes, and then you just create an automation to do that. You deploy transform datasets or models automatically once they pass the testing. So as I said in the previous step, in continuous integration, you do loads of testing. And after that, if all of they pass, and also aligning with some code review best practices, you may up you may refresh your production environment based on that. And you run automated data validation in staging environments before deploying to production. So environment management is a great ally to CI/CD. If you have development, staging, and production environments, it's easier to actually apply CI/CD because if you only allow for if you merge your code to staging environment before production and then run data validation tests there, you can further assure and yeah, be more sure that that won't break production and that won't affect downstream stakeholders. So that ensures the integrity of data after the transformations. Some tools that may be used here, Terraform for creating a staging environment and production and development that would have the same configurations, would only have different names and yeah, basically that. GitLab CI/CD, GitHub Actions, Jenkins are all CI/CD tools that may be used to create these automations. And Great Expectations and dbt for data validation tests in staging. Those tools are very interesting to apply in these scenarios. So that's basically some ideas, some examples of how to apply CI/CD in data engineering. What should you pay attention to? Code quality, tests, automation, how to automate, and also environment management. So summarizing, CI/CD allows faster releases and lower human errors. Code and data versioning are foundational steps to have a successful CI/CD, as well as environment management. It's simple to start applying CI/CD because you only need to understand your steps of work and then automate that. Your steps to update your production environment and just automate that. And the culture of improving these automations make work simpler because As you automate more and more stuff, as you create more tests, you are more sure that your code won't break your production environment, and you also have less time of humans working on things that could be automated. So it's a great culture overall. So if you want to chat more about CI/CD, please reach out to us at contact@enabledata.io, or click any link below that have you can schedule 30 minutes with us very simply. So that's it. Thank you for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon.